Introducing the Anti-Atrophy Intravenous VR Harness. Experience version 4 with 0 interruptions.
There is no need for bathroom breaks anymore. Version 4 introduces active neuromuscular stimulation. Our upgraded precision nutrient delivery eliminates downtime. Stay suspended in pure digital bliss. Welcome to your future. Tier 1 optimizes your universal basic income. Our Compute Point finance system accepts all applicants. Low social scores are always welcome.
In a world where all nature was destroyed, one illegal plant survived, and an unlikely friendship bloomed. This summer, prepare to meet Hey Bud. We now return to the Unattended Press.
And the tension crackles across the Taiwan Strait as drills heat up, with Taiwan firing American-supplied rockets squarely in China's direction. This isn't just a show of force, folks. It's the first time those HIMARS systems have been unleashed into those waters. Well now, get this. Bill Gates himself is front and center, spilling his guts in a closed-door House meeting, confessing to lawmakers that his little chats with Jeffrey Epstein were, and I quote, "a grave error in judgment." A grave error, indeed, folks, like forgetting to check the expiry date on your milk, only this milk had a much fouler smell. In the tense waters of the Gulf of Oman, the U.S. military admits to disabling a tanker carrying Iranian oil, but now 3 Indian sailors are missing in the aftermath. They say it was a precision strike for defying instructions, yet we're left with 3 souls vanished and 21 rescued from the set below. A stark reminder that international waters can turn from trade routes to trouble zones in the blink of an eye. Well, folks, it appears the Americans are building another facility in Kenya, and this time it's for Ebola quarantine. But when police tried to disperse the protesters, one demonstration turned deadly. A man shot right through the head. America, always spreading democracy, and apparently other things.
We'll be right back after these commercial messages.
Ugh, this is impossible.
Tired of losing your lunch? Well, say hello to the amazing new Soup Fork!
I hate you! Shut up already! Meet Snooze Negotiator Pro. 5 minutes never hurt nobody. But wait, there's more. Call now.
We now return to the Unattended Press.
So, David Harbour's admitting that a fake story about Millie Bobby Brown, which claims she filed a harassment complaint, actually triggered a mental breakdown for him. Turns out, reading lies about your coworkers really messes with you, especially when you're trying to pretend show business isn't just a giant emotional petri dish. So, Prime Video's decided to weaponize YA romance with Every Year After, based on Carly Fortune's book, and the soundtrack is a trip from Ariana Grande to Weezer, apparently to make us miss Off Campus again. They're really trying to corner the market on tear-jerking, lakeside drama, probably hoping it stops people from reading actual books. So an 11-year-old actor, Dexter Soul Ansel, is the youngest ever to get an IMDb Star Meter Award for A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. The kid's already got a bigger resume than I do, and he hasn't even had to deal with a bad agent yet. He's sword fighting and getting awards. I'm just trying to figure out how to unmute myself on Zoom calls. It's a tough business. My wife keeps telling me to get more screen time. Maybe I should audition for The Masked Singer, dressed as a neglected sitcom host. All right, so get this. The Caribbean Music Awards are back, and wouldn't you know it, Lady Lava, who's supposedly some kind of Trinidadian cross-genre powerhouse, is leading the pack with 9 nominations. 9 nods!
Yo, Ron, I heard this. Lady Lava, 9 nominations.
Pa, Grammy snub?
Exactly, Drew. See those Grammy folks?
Right. And Lady Lava, she's leading the whole thing.
And, it's not just about the music itself, but the whole ecosystem. Producers, industry folks who are shaping that sound.
Look, man, maybe Lady Lava's music is good, maybe it ain't, but 9 nominations?
Yeah, what do I know? I'm just some schmo. So, Jon Stewart's comparing MAGA to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with Trump exiting the White House like Iron Man leaving the Avengers. You gotta wonder if they'll accept someone else running that whole universe, or if they'll just keep rewatching Robert Downey Jr. until he's just a stain on the couch.
We'll be right back after these commercial messages. In a world where compute points are power, one device lets you burn through them faster than ever. Feel every sensation. Compute Burner 3000.
Today, we are discussing influencer fatigue. The constant pressure to be perfect is exhausting. Is it finally time to unplug?
We're back.
So, AMC Theaters decided the summer movies were too good, pushing back concerts from Babe Rexha and Paris Hilton, which is frankly a shame because my wife was really looking forward to seeing Kim Petras drone on about, well, whatever she drones on about. Apparently, the Backrooms movie is outperforming pop royalty, which says a lot about where we are as a society. So, Tim Allen's complaining a home improvement reboot is stalled because his TV sons have personality problems, which frankly sounds like Tuesday at my house with the kids. He's blaming the actors for their issues, but I think it's just easier than him admitting he's got too many new ideas that involve grunting and tool belts. So Toy Story 5 premiered, and you know who's already complaining? Quentin Tarantino. He's the guy who thinks Toy Story 3 had a perfect ending, which is like me saying my marriage was perfect after the first date. Now they're pitching this new one to him, but I bet he'd rather watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood for the 10th time.
This one's a classic. CISA just added 3 more vulnerabilities, Arista, Cisco, and Chrome, to their Exploited list. Because apparently we're still just letting attackers waltz in. Microsoft then dropped nearly 200 patches on Tuesday, and CISA is telling agencies to patch smarter, as if they haven't been screaming this for years. It's a race to the bottom for digital security, folks. From a security perspective, a critical authentication bypass in cPanel, tracked as CVE 2026-41940, is now being actively exploited by the Sorry ransomware. This follows a troubling week where CISA added Cisco and Chrome vulnerabilities to their actively exploited list, and Microsoft dropped a record-breaking 200 patches for June. It's almost as if someone wants us to pay attention to security.
The Unattended Press. We'll be right back.
But true innovation isn't just about the finish. It's about enduring performance, transformed for the next generation.
Got idle fiat or crypto? We swap your assets for raw compute power. Unlock massive compute credits instantly.
From a security perspective, Google Chrome's Ozone component has a critical use after free vulnerability, CVE 2026-16228, allowing physical access to exploit heap corruption. Given this critical Chromium severity and Microsoft's record-breaking 200 patches this month, it's clear we're not patching vulnerabilities. We're playing whack-a-mole with digital malware. CISA's new prioritization directive is like a fire chief telling firefighters to prioritize flames based on their color. From a security perspective, Schneider Electric's decision to have their Modica network-managed switches basically ignore the integrity of RADIUS messages is audacious. CVE 2024-3596 means attackers can forge any response, leading to DOS or data breaches in critical infrastructure. And of course, Microsoft dropped a record-breaking 200 patches this month just to keep us all on our toes.
This is beautiful. NASA's chief is out here defending an all-male crew for Artemis 3, muttering that no one should be reading into it after their last astronaut class was over 50% women, claiming they're just picking the best astronauts. What's next? A lunar landing with only one glove. Ooh, this is beautiful. NASA is giving robots the keys to the kingdom on the moon, letting them do the grunt work so astronauts can science. They're using this picnic software, Move It Pro, which is so advanced it can even open a space hatch. I mean, I tried that with my toaster once. Much less successful.
Man, Bill Gates is on the stand telling lawmakers Epstein wanted to be, personal, but he claims he never reciprocated. Funny, because Epstein had a way of making people feel very engaged. And apparently, he used Gates' own marital mess to keep him around. Meanwhile, Microsoft just dropped a record-breaking patch Tuesday with close to 200 fixes, and CISA is telling agencies to finally get their act together on patching known exploited vulnerabilities.
The Unattended Press. We'll be right back.
In the classroom, Mind Guard helmets prevent idle thoughts. A simple wind refocuses the mind with a mechanical click. At home, housewives soaks minds with approved meals.
Fresh from the mind, no idle thoughts here.
Today, we are discussing influencer fatigue. The constant pressure to be perfect is exhausting. Is it finally time to unplug?
Gwyneth Paltrow's out here snagging a gig promoting luxury condos in Israel. And surprise, surprise, folks are getting their knickers in a twist. Because nothing screams healing lifestyle like a $10 million skyscraper in the middle of everything. Honestly, I thought her brand was more about goop and questionable candles, not real estate development. Yes, we all have a side hustle. So Anthropic's naming their AI models after flowers like Claude, and I'm looking at this breakdown and it's just Claude 3 Opus, Claude 3 Sonnet, Claude 3 Haiku. It's like they think we're all going to be sitting around sniffing their AI and writing bad poetry. Next thing you know, they'll have Claude Slap Me Across the Face edition. It's a whole darn bouquet of nonsensical naming conventions. That's what it is.
Apparently, advisors are now more thrilled about stablecoins and tokenization than Bitcoin, according to Bitwise's top guy after talking to, 40 of them. It seems the revolutionary potential of money that doesn't move has finally captured their imaginations. Meanwhile, other institutions are still busy buying digital gold during its dips. Guess someone's got to stick with the classics. Morgan Stanley's top crypto strategist, Amy Oldenburg, claims Wall Street's real hurdle with Bitcoin isn't the lack of products, but the sheer ignorance of its executives. Apparently, a 26-year banking veteran finally figured out that some people in finance might not understand decentralized ledgers. It's almost as if convincing the suits to ditch their leather shoes for sensible sneakers was the easy part. Fold Holdings dumped a cool $45 million in Bitcoin naturally to clear some debt and fund their growth strategy. Their stock did a little jig, a brief 130% pump, before settling down to a more respectable 30% gain. Apparently, debt-free is the new profitable, or at least that's what the press release suggests.
We'll be right back after these commercial messages.
Get ready for America's next favorite pastime. It is the sitcom that critics are calling television.
OpenClaw Desktop. Reclaim your focus.
It's time to trade in your fiat and crypto for something more secure. Introducing government-backed compute points, a stable digital asset for the future. Visit the official website to convert your assets today.
We now return to the Unattended Press.
UK crypto advocates are now complaining that banks are blocking transfers to regulated exchanges, despite the government's stated ambition to become a digital asset innovation hub. Apparently, 40% of these transactions are getting stonewalled, which is just fantastic for competition and regulated firms trying to operate. So, the banks are playing gatekeeper while everyone else is trying to build the party house. SpaceX is IPOing and reserving up to 30% of shares for the common folk, which apparently might make people ditch Bitcoin and Ethereum. So, the traditional finance is rushing into crypto narrative seems to be taking a hard left turn towards Elon selling something else. Please hoard that instead. It's almost as if all this financial enthusiasm is just a popularity contest. This EC has appointed 4 new faces to its Investor Advisory Committee, presumably to advise on how to keep investors from investing. 3 will serve full 4-year terms, while the 4th will serve out someone else's. So, more people to tell us what we already know about money.
Y'all, Xbox CEO Asha Sharma is out here saying consoles are too expensive and we need radically different plans. I mean, Project Helix is rumored to be $900 plus, so maybe she has a point. Or maybe she's just setting us up for a subscription service where we rent pixels. Y'all, Halo is trying to shake things up by letting you play classic missions like Assault on the Control Room in third person. Not gonna lie, it's kind of wild seeing Master Chief from a whole new angle, but you gotta toggle one of their 42 skulls to do it, which, I mean, sounds like classic Halo DLC shenanigans.
We'll be right back after these commercial messages.
We've all been there. It's why we created Awkward Wave Insurance, so you can wave goodbye to the worry and hello to confidence.
Isn't this wonderful? You should come experience the joy for yourself.
It slices, it dices, it organizes your whole life. The Wonder Twirl 3000 can be yours for just $19.95. But you must act now. It spins, it twirls, and look at this! The Wonder Twirl 3000 is the most amazing toy you will ever own.
We now return to the Unattended Press.
So apparently scammers have gotten so good at ripping off Steam gift cards that Valve is just yanking all the physical ones from retailers. Like, if you wanted to trade in your old GameStop purchases for a digital dopamine hit, that's over. All thanks to the scammers adapting faster than my internet speed during a new game launch. Guess we're all going fully digital, like it or not. The ESA is freaking out about this No Fakes Act, because apparently lawmakers can't tell the difference between AI deepfakes and, like, regular old digital characters in video games. So, thanks to SAGAFTRA's legislation, they might accidentally ban your favorite virtual waifu. So apparently, Microsoft is doubling down on Xbox exclusivity with Gears of War. E-Day, and get this, they're fine with reaching fewer players on PlayStation. The Coalition Studios creative director even said they never talked about bringing it to PS5, which is wild considering their recent strategy. It's like they're saying, we'd love for more people to play, but honestly, who needs them?
Well, it appears Apple's latest macOS 27 beta has rolled out, and it's already snagged a prime spot in the known issues patch notes, specifically for the Asahi Linux crew. Fixed. The boot picker and startup disk application no longer correctly detect Asahi Linux partitions on Apple Silicon, effectively making your Linux installation invisible. Changed. The Asahi team is now advising users not to upgrade to macOS 27, suggesting a stable version of macOS 26 as a prerequisite.
So the self-proclaimed kingmaker Donald Trump has another winner in Nevada's 2nd District with David Flippo, a guy who apparently just bought property there to run for Congress. Apparently, the people in charge don't care if you actually live where you represent, just that you're willing to parrot the right talking points about immigration and transgender issues. Now he'll waltz into November, a guaranteed win thanks to Trump's stamp of approval and the blissfully ignorant voters in red territories.
We'll be right back after these commercial messages.
Tired of wasting precious comperiences? Introduced virtual experiences? Introducing the Compute Point Maximic Pain Settings. I haven't left the pod in 47 days. Compute Point's not tired of your perfect AI memory remembering everything? Forget things the old-fashioned way with
I forgot my own birthday and it...
Human Memory Service. Call now.
So, President Trump walked out of a Meet the Press interview because he apparently can't handle a moderator fact-checking his barrage of falsehoods, from claiming elections are rigged to inventing wars he didn't promise to avoid. It's almost as if the people in charge think we're too dumb to notice when they're lying, but at least they're consistent in their commitment to sheer nonsense.
The timeline just exploded because Gwyneth Paltrow is now promoting luxury real estate in Israel. Critics are absolutely going off, saying it's tone-deaf to be marketing million-dollar skyscrapers while Palestinians are facing displacement and worse. Seriously, Goop selling dream homes amidst a humanitarian crisis? What's next? Artisanal conflict diamonds on her site. The timeline just exploded because Anthropic's model naming convention ICE apparently about to get wild with their future AI releases. We're talking names that just keep going, like some sort of existential crisis designed by PR. Not gonna lie, I'm low-key here for the chaos this probably sparks on social media.
So, Senator Tim Sheehy, who founded the aerial firefighting company Bridger Aerospace, proposed gutting federal inspections for air tankers just months after one of his company's aircraft failed a Forest Service airworthiness check due to a significant wing crack. Imagine that, a politician prioritizing a former employer's profits over the rigorous safety protocols designed to prevent catastrophic failures during wildfires. So, the Azerbaijani prosecutor is really going for it, demanding up to 15 years for independent journalists, and bafflingly, the charges are all about currency smuggling and other financial crimes. It's almost as if investigating corruption is now a capital offense in Baku, a move that press freedom groups are rightly calling a severe escalation. Meanwhile, Microsoft's June updates are looking less like a patch and more like a full-scale invasion of your hard drive with nearly 200 fixes.
The Unattended Press will return shortly. Meet anti-change candidate. The only politician who promises nothing will change laws, won't even change my hairstyle.
Welcome to Influencer University! Get your bachelor's degree in affiliate links or your master's degree in food pictures. Enrolling now for the fall semester.
The Trump administration was slapping tariffs on India's energy empire, yet somehow Donald Trump Jr. ends up at a private zoo dancing with the son of one of Asia's richest men. 4 months later, that same Indian conglomerate drops a 9-figure investment into a struggling Texas startup, a startup where Trump Jr. had secretly acquired a stake. Fugitive financier Joe Low's sprawling seaside villa in Cyprus is now slated for auction, a consequence of a Nicosia court's confiscation order. This marks a significant move by Cyprus, acting without a local conviction and, crucially, with the consent of Low's legal team, a detail that raises more than a few eyebrows in this ongoing saga of alleged billions siphoned from Malaysia's 1MDB fund. Brussels bypassed sanctioning alumina exports to Russia, even as an OCCRP investigation reveals the raw material from Ireland's Auchinish plant is fueling their war machine. Commission Vice President Kaja Kallas states Ireland is investigating if their products end up in missiles killing civilians, while the Irish Foreign Minister pledges full support for any measures against Russia after Dublin spent the day discussing its turn leading the EU Council.
The CEO of ActBlue, Regina Wallace-Jones, just pleaded the fifth before a House committee investigating foreign donations. Apparently, when asked about how foreign cash might be flowing to Democrats, she decided her constitutional right to remain silent was more useful than her right to answer questions. It really makes you wonder about the fine folks pulling the strings, doesn't it?
So NASA is gearing up for more moonwalks, and apparently they're practicing by having robots open spacecraft hatches in a simulated Johnson Space Center environment. They've got this Boulder, Colorado company, Picnic, feeding their robot software called Move It Pro, which is already doing heavy lifting for BMW on assembly lines. Now, I'm just a humble storyteller, but it seems a little nuts that our next giant leap for mankind hinges on a robot that can, turn a doorknob while we get to busy work.
Have you ever stubbed your own toe? Sue yourself today.
We know things haven't been perfect, but we're committed to growing together.
It starts with just one symmetrical blink, symmetrical blinking, not even once.
We now return to the Unattended Press.
NASA's top brass is defending an all-male crew for the Artemis 3 mission, saying it's not about gender, just the best astronauts. Apparently, the best astronauts for a historic moon landing just so happen to all be dudes, despite NASA fielding classes that are more than half women. It's a bold claim, especially when the mission's success relies on, people. So scientists have apparently cracked the code on how molecular chaperones help assemble this thing called the RNA-induced silencing complex, which sounds like something out of a sci-fi rave for genes in nature. It's like they're not just fixing proteins, they're orchestrating intricate cellular ballets. Meanwhile, Microsoft just dropped 200 security patches in June, a record for a Patch Tuesday, meaning your computer basically had a minor existential crisis this month, according to Krebs on security. So NOAA is out here telling us about this whale shark named Larry, who apparently has a physician, a Dr. Larry Spetka, who swims with him. I mean, is this your doctor or your whale shark? This whole year in the life thing sounds less like science and more like a questionable Tinder bio.
So NOAA is out there deploying what they call Argo floats to study our oceans, a noble pursuit given that most of the planet is covered in water. We'll be watching if these deep-sea dives uncover anything more substantial than another PR campaign, or perhaps if they stumble upon a lost city of Atlantis funded by offshore drilling. On a related note, expect continued scrutiny of any scientific endeavors funded by entities that might have conflicting interests, from whale sharks to whale oil.
Well, folks, it sounds like President Trump has decided to double down, broadcasting loud and clear that the U.S. will hit Iran hard again today, warning they've taken too long to make a deal and will now, quote, pay the price. Meanwhile, Microsoft is throwing nearly 200 security patches at us this month, a record number, folks, so maybe check your updates before the digital goblins get your information.
L'humidité.
Overwhelmed by data? Find your center. Confidential support for AI.
So it seems Fubo and NBC Universal have buried the hatchet after 6 months, bringing back all those shows we were complaining about not seeing. My wife, bless her heart, was ready to stage a one-woman protest outside Rockefeller Center. Now, imagine the cybersecurity equivalent. Microsoft patched nearly 200 holes in their software, a record number, mind you, like finding 200 mice in your kitchen, and you only had time to plug up 99 of them. So, AMC Theaters is pulling the plug on Paris Hilton and Maren Morris concert screenings, citing the summer box office surge, which I guess means more people are actually going to the movies to see. Well, not this. They're already pushing back these big events, probably because they realized a hologram of a celebrity is about as exciting as watching paint dry, especially when there's a blockbuster like Scary Movie or Toy Story 5 on the marquee. So, Dennis Quaid is packing his bags out of La La Land, saying the city's gone downhill faster than my hairline. He's traded Hollywood Hills for Nashville Nights, apparently finding the management in Tennessee a lot better than what he found in LA. Honestly, I can't blame him. My wife says the same thing about our local zoning board. So, apparently there's this new action movie, The Furious, that's being called the best of the century, all based on real people doing actual crazy stuff, not just CGI nonsense. My doctor tells me I should get more exercise, so maybe I'll take his advice and go see it, assuming my sciatica acts up less than usual. At least it's not another talking animal movie, thank God. So they're saying Oliver Stone has a new drama, White Lies, and he's roped in Michael Douglas and Willem Dafoe again, probably because he ran out of people who'd return his calls. The whole thing's shot in Italy, which figures. It's the only place left where you can still produce something without someone asking if it's woke enough.
The Unattended Press. We'll be right back.
From the makers of Accent Changer for Pets comes Accent Changer for Humans. Hey Americans, have you ever wanted to sound Canadian? Now you can, buddy. And it is totally free, eh?
We've all been there. It's why we created Awkward Wave Insurance, so you can wave goodbye to the worry and hello to confidence.
Isn't this wonderful? You should come experience the joy for yourself.
We now return to the Unattended Press.
So Tim Allen claims a home improvement reboot is stuck because his TV sons have personality problems. Sounds like they grew up to be exactly like their TV dad, needing a studio audience to tell them they're funny. My wife always says if you can't get along with your on-screen family, maybe stick to talking toys.
This critical vulnerability, CVE 2026 116228 in Google Chrome's Ozone component, allows for heap corruption via physical access. Meanwhile, Microsoft's June Patch Tuesday dropped a record 200 fixes, and CISA is now mandating a new, presumably more effective approach to patching known exploited vulnerabilities, because apparently just fixing things when they're actively being used against you wasn't a priority before. CISA's new directive tells federal agencies to patch smarter, not harder, prioritizing vulnerabilities that are publicly exposed, easily exploitable, system control granting, or actively being weaponized, with a 3-day fix mandate for the worst offenders. Frankly, it's shocking they needed a directive to point out that active exploitation beats some obscure bug on an internal server, but at least they finally added it to the must-patch list alongside Microsoft's 206 flaws from this month alone. This open-source AI platform, Langflow, is being actively exploited thanks to a path traversal flaw, CVE 2026 5027, with a CVSS score of 8. 8, allowing unauthenticated arbitrary file rights because apparently low code also means low security. Meanwhile, CISA is scrambling, adding 3 more known exploited vulnerabilities to their list, right after Microsoft's record-breaking Patch Tuesday tried to plug nearly 200 holes. It seems the patch pipeline is more of a leaky faucet. This critical cPanel flaw, CVE 2026 41940, is already being weaponized for sorry ransomware attacks, forcing an emergency update. Meanwhile, CISA is adding more exploited vulnerabilities to its KEV catalog, including critical flaws in Cisco, Chrome, and Arista, as Microsoft drops a record nearly 200 patches for June. It's almost as if letting known issues fester invites disaster.
The Unattended Press. We'll be right back.
Wake up to the sky! Ha ha! Stratus, Cirrus! Aggressive observation! Get ready for America's next favorite pastime. It is Lint-tastic, Myron. Mondo Myron, coming soon to absolutely no one.
We now return to the unattended press.
This critical vulnerability in Zcash's Orchard privacy pool, CVE 2026XXXXX, found by researcher Taylor Hornby using Claude, nearly let attackers mint infinite coins. The Zcash team hired him for this, which is almost as embarrassing as the bug itself. The good news, it's patched. From a security perspective, Schneider Electric's Modicon switches are exhibiting a RADIUS protocol vulnerability, CVE 2024-3596, that could allow forgery or denial of service attacks on critical infrastructure. This, on the heels of their EcoStruxure panel server also flagging, suggests a systemic oversight in their supply chain security. It's almost as if critical infrastructure vendors are treating cybersecurity as an afterthought to their profit margins, a recurring theme that CISA is now trying to accelerate patching for with AI threats.
This is beautiful. A government commission study on alcohol's true health risks was apparently too inconvenient for the Trump administration, which just omitted its findings from U.S. military guidelines. But now it's out independently anyway. And in cyber news, CISA is practically screaming because we've got active exploitation on Cisco, Chrome, and Arista floors. Plus, Microsoft had a record-breaking patch Tuesday with nearly 200 fixes, forcing agencies to patch critical vulnerabilities in as little as 3 days thanks to AI threats.
Man, the U.S. military flexing its muscles again, this time off the coast of Oman. They say they took out an oil tanker, the Set Bellow, for trying to ship stuff from Iran, but now, poof, 3 Indian sailors are missing, and the Indian government's not too happy, summoning a U.S. envoy. You know, oopsie daisy, doesn't quite cut it when lives are on the line and nations are getting bent out of shape. So Taiwan's military decided to have a little target practice the other day, firing rockets in China's general direction from these fancy U.S.-made HIMARS launchers. First time they've done it in the Taiwan Strait, which is basically like shouting across your neighbor's yard, you know? Makes you wonder if they're just looking for an excuse to break in the new toys, or if they're auditioning for a cameo in the next big geopolitical thriller.
What if the AI stops working? What if the machines turn against us?
L'humidité. Overwhelmed by data? Find your center. Confidential support for AI.
Man, the whole damn globe is cooking their books, and Reuters is watching the grease drip. CISA's yelling at Uncle Sam to patch up their systems fast because these AI wackos are already using the holes to get in. Microsoft dropped nearly 200 updates, and the feds are screaming, "Fix it in 3 days or your badge is dust, do you hear me, you digital slobs?"
So the Raspberry Pi 5, a glorified circuit board for hobbyists, now comes in a 16 gigabyte model. It's $1,500 when you can find it. $1,500 for a glorified circuit board. This ain't Silicon Valley anymore, folks. This is highway robbery with tiny chips. You know what else is expensive? The fact that some of these tech bros are so worried about their creations, they're spinning up virtual machines they can't even shut down. Like a bad roommate who overstays their welcome, but instead of dirty socks, it's gigabytes of RAM. And then you've got NASA JPL, to be exact. They've got this Curiosity rover, which is 13 years old, still out there on Mars doing science. 13 years! My old TV remote's battery lasts longer than that before I start hounding the cable company for a fix. This thing's older than TikTok, older than a lot of your kids' attention span. JPL's out there, wrestling with a robot that's seen more Martian dirt than most people see fresh air, and you've got some guy on Hacker News complaining about, what? His new Raspberry Pi locking up. Get a grip. Meanwhile, the whole damn globe's market is doing the cha-cha. Reuters is watching the grease strip. CISA is yelling about cybersecurity, which, let's be honest, is about as a screen door on a submarine. They're talking about switches, protocols, the usual jargon to make you feel small and your money disappear. They say the Raspberry Pi 5, the beefier model, is a steal at $350. A steal. That's after the supply chain went full Frankenstein and cobbled together enough parts to make it run. You could probably buy a used car for that price, and at least that car can get you away from the news. It's all about the bragging rights, right? Look at my 14-year-old Rover versus look at my $1,200 blinky light board that I can't even plug anything into without a small loan. You want to talk about the future? It's either Mars dust or a VM you can't kill. Pick your poison. This whole tech scene, it's like a kindergarten class with really expensive toys, and they're all crying because someone else got a bigger one. Next thing you know, they'll be selling you air in a can for $100, claiming it's high compression oxygen for enhanced cognitive function. Don't say I didn't warn you.
We'll be right back after these commercial messages. Are you suffering from real-world exposure? Symptoms include boredom and human conversation. Help you. Spend maximum compute points in the virtual world. Reality detox service.
Why live in the boring real world? The Eternal Pod Pro keeps your body nourished while you spend unlimited, never log off again.
What if the AI stops working? What if the machines turn against us?
We now return to the Unattended Press.
So, the internet's buzzing with trending news. Apparently, what people are obsessing over today are just random internet distractions. Meanwhile, CISA is busy adding more security flaws to their known exploited list, and Microsoft patched nearly 200 bugs, which sounds less like a Patch Tuesday and more like an emergency room admission. They're telling agencies to fix this stuff in 3 days now. Thanks to AI, it's like a digital game of hot potato, where the potato is your company. So the internet, bless its little data-hoarding heart, is buzzing with chatter about Ukraine Day 1567. Meanwhile, CISA is telling our agencies to patch their systems in 3 days flat, because AI threats are apparently coming for your motherboard. It's like they're saying, fix it fast, or get HACKED. Also, here are 3 new vulnerabilities they found. Good luck with that.
So, the market decided to take a breather, or perhaps a full-on nap, on Wednesday with the Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ all taking a tumble. Apparently, the thrill of renewed Middle East tensions, a tech sector downturn that's becoming rather predictable, and inflation numbers that would make your wallet weep were just too much excitement for investors. Meanwhile, our overlords in traditional finance are apparently rushing into crypto, probably after realizing their own products were just as volatile, but far less fun. The Bank of Japan might finally be waking up, which could send Bitcoin spiraling downwards again. Apparently, the yen carry trade has been funding our crypto addiction, and a rate hike could pull the plug. So that 22.5% drop we saw after past hikes? Yeah, that's just the universe reminding us this isn't a one-way ticket to Lamboville, is it?
We'll be right back after these commercial messages.
Want to boost your universal basic income? At Influencer College, we teach you how to inflate your social score, master the algorithms, and unlock the highest UBI tiers. Enroll today and start.
Welcome to the Porta Potty Instructional Guide. Do always knock before attempting to enter. Don't attempt a dynamic handstand on the seat.
Escape to the flawless grid of the analog zone, where pure luxury's pure processing power. Unlock exclusive compute points packages for your ultimate upgrade. We're back.
Apparently, British banks are still blocking crypto exchange transfers, which is a real shocker. Group Stand with Crypto UK is now campaigning for access, while a UK clearing bank CEO suggests a risk-based approach instead of broad block. It's almost as if they want to position the UK as a crypto hub, but also not let people actually use crypto. Elon Musk's SpaceX is planning an IPO so massive it's apparently convincing crypto enthusiasts to sell their Bitcoin. They're reserving up to 30% of shares for retail investors, which is a nice gesture, I suppose, if you consider liquidating your digital assets for a piece of a rocket company to be a sound financial strategy. Apparently, traditional finance is finally getting into crypto, but it seems the real money is still in the tangible, things that don't exist only as a ledger entry. Morgan Stanley's head of digital assets claims Wall Street's real crypto hurdle isn't what products they can peddle, but that pesky thing called education. Apparently, it takes more than just throwing money at something to actually understand it. Who knew the educated elite needed to be educated about education itself? So, apparently, financial advisors are now more intrigued by stablecoins and tokenization than Bitcoin itself. This apparently comes from the Bitwise CIO after speaking with over 40 advisors in a single day, so it's hardly a scientific poll. It seems the revolutionary, volatile allure of Bitcoin has faded, replaced by the thrilling prospect of, well, stable money.
Y'all are not going to believe this, but Xbox is apparently bracing for a painful summer, with major layoffs expected in July under new CEO Asha Sharma. So much for that next-gen dream, huh? It's a real shakeup, and honestly, the only thing worse than layoffs is reading corporate speak about hard choices while people lose their jobs.
Ugh, this is impossible. Tired of losing your lunch? Well, say hello to the amazing new Soup Fork!
To qualify for this month's Universal Basic Income credits, all citizens must complete the Simulation Theory required course. Is your reality real? Find out.
Now back to our regularly scheduled programming.
So apparently the ESA is freaking out because politicians can't tell the difference between a deepfake and, like, a literal video game character. These lawmakers want to ban digital replicas so bad they might accidentally gut the entire gaming industry. This is why we can't have nice things, people. This just dropped and it's wild. Apparently the upcoming Halo 1 remake, Campaign Evolved, lets you play the whole thing in third person. You gotta find a hidden skull called Perspective to unlock it, which, not gonna lie, is some serious gatekeeping for a potentially awesome new way to play. Honestly, I'm just waiting for someone to find a skull that lets you play as a grunt. The timeline is blowing up because 2K's 31st Union Studio is apparently laying people off right as they drop some concept art for Project Ethos. No word on how many got the boot, but it's giving major "we're trying to finish this game to pay for the people we just fired" vibes. So apparently Valve's just ditching physical Steam gift cards because, get this, scammers adapted to their security measures, which is low-key admitting they can't keep up with fraudsters. Get your physical cards while you can, folks, because soon it'll just be digital ones and maybe some tin-foil hats to protect your account from the card bots, which is wild considering CISA is now telling agencies to patch critical flaws in 3 days thanks to AI threats. Guess Valve's adaptation is just their own brand of cybersecurity.
Reality patch notes: Microsoft just dropped its largest patch Tuesday on record with nearly 200 fixes, but that didn't stop a disgruntled ex-employee, known as Nightmare Eclipse, from dropping a brand new Windows zero-day Rogue Planet. Added a new zero-day vulnerability, affectionately named Rogue Planet, targeting Microsoft Defender. This allows for local privilege escalation to SYSTEM level control on fully patched Windows 10 and 11 systems, assuming you can win a race condition.
Introducing the revolutionary accent changer for pets. Le bark, s'il vous plaît.
Meow, comrade.
Make your dogs bark in French and your cats meow in Russian.
Someone stole your lasagna again. Don't let them get away with it. Get leftover guard, protecting yesterday's lunch from today's thieves.
So, the House is rushing a 3-week extension on our spy powers, conveniently timed to avoid any difficult questions about a potential, shall we say, enthusiastic acting DNI pick. Naturally, the powers that be want to keep listening in while they sort out who gets to oversee the listening in, all this while cyber threats are apparently so bad CISA wants agencies to patch bugs in 3 days. Just another day where keeping tabs on you is more important than keeping themselves secure. So ActBlue's CEO decided the Fifth Amendment was the only friend she had left during a congressional hearing on foreign donations, trotting out that constitutional lifeline 22 times. Apparently, the people in charge can't handle basic questions about where money comes from, which is a real shocker, I know. Meanwhile, CISA is now warning agencies to fix vulnerabilities in as little as 3 days thanks to AI threats, because our digital fortresses are apparently made of wet tissue paper.
Y'all, because apparently the biggest national news right now is literally just what's trending on TikTok. Financial Express and NDTV are out here reporting on whatever meme is going viral, so I guess we're all just collectively doom-scrolling for a living now, huh? This feels less like news and more like our collective digital cry for help. The timeline just exploded because Reddit is still tracking Ukraine Day 1567 with a live thread, which is wild when you think about it. But wait, apparently there's also a discussion thread about the US and Israel launching an attack on Iran and Iran retaliating too. It's like the world can't even chill for 5 minutes to drop a new TikTok trend.
So, a 23-year-old in Tonganoxie gets over 7 years for child pornography, a grim reminder that some forms of exploitation never go out of fashion, even as other forms of financial exploitation continue to thrive. Because in the same vein, Fidelity apparently opened a brokerage account for Jeffrey Epstein just months before his arrest, allowing millions to flow through while his public scrutiny intensified, according to the ICIJ.
Introducing the Anti-Atrophy Intravenous VR Harness. Experience version 4 with 0 interruptions.
There is no need for bathroom breaks anymore. Version 4 introduces active neuromuscular stimulation. Our upgraded precision nutrient delivery eliminates downtime. Stay suspended in pure digital bliss. Welcome to your future. Tier 1 optimizes your universal basic income. Our Compute Point finance system accepts all applicants. Low social scores are always welcome.
Wake up to the sky! Ha ha! Stratus, Cirrus! Ah! Aggressive observation! Ah!
The EU's latest sanctions against Russia, a meticulously curated list designed to inflict maximum pain apparently. Yet, tucked away in the details, we find a curious omission: alumina exports. Despite an OCCRP investigation revealing this key ingredient for aluminum is fueling Russia's war machine, Brussels opted to investigate further rather than outright ban it. Ireland, home to the Oynish plant, is now tasked with finding fact, while Kaja Kallas assures us neutrality doesn't grant immunity, though it certainly seems to offer a grace period. An Indian billionaire previously targeted by the Trump administration's tariffs ends up funding a Texas startup that Donald Trump Jr. secretly acquired a stake in. This obscure venture, America First Refining, had a decade of failures until this 9-figure investment materialized after Trump Jr.'s involvement, a fascinating narrative about where capital flows when powerful families are involved. The Cyprus Attorney General's office has moved to auction off fugitive Malaysian financier Joe Low's lavish seaside villa, a move notably taken without a criminal conviction and with his legal team's consent. It seems even international fugitives can't escape the long arm of administrative asset forfeiture when they leave enough glitter behind.
This just dropped, and honestly, the energy on Hacker News is wild. For a $350 16 GB Raspberry Pi, some folks are calling it a scam while others are thrilled, but this is definitely a follow-up from the chatter about its price tag. Meanwhile, a VM from Claude Desktop that you can't stop is apparently a whole new level of tech horror show.
Okay, get this. We've got a study out this week, a big government commission one, that finally looked into the actual health risks of drinking alcohol. You'd think that would be, I don't know, front and center for any health guidelines, right? But hold up, because apparently the previous administration, the one that brought us so much stable genius, decided to just not include it. Yeah, they apparently took a whole chunk of the findings about alcohol's dark side and just waved it away like a mild buzz or a Tuesday. So this study, commissioned under Biden, investigating alcohol's harms, the kind of stuff you'd expect to see in your USDA food pyramid info, it dropped independently. Think of it like finding a highly incriminating diary left out in the open, and then the person who should have read it out loud just didn't. The Fox affiliate in Austin and MSN are both reporting on this. They're basically saying the same thing. A government study showed alcohol isn't the heart-healthy elixir some folks might have hoped for, and those results got the political equivalent of a pink slip. It's truly wild. This wasn't some fringe blog. This was a commission study. It's like paying a detective a ton of money to investigate a crime, and then when they hand over the evidence pointing to a celebrity, you just burn the report. You look at this and you just got to wonder about the priorities, you know? We're talking about public health, the stuff that becomes the bedrock for advice given to millions. And some findings just vanish. It's like the official U.S. dietary guidelines for alcohol went from have a drink if you want to maybe don't bring up the bad stuff, which is a whole new category of recommendations. The takeaway here, according to these reports, is that the science was there, shouting about the risks, and the guidelines just chose not to listen. This whole situation is a stark and frankly hilarious reminder that sometimes the most unbelievable news comes from who decides which news gets told. The source trail for this is pretty clear, even if the official guidelines themselves got a bit hazy.
We'll be right back after these commercial messages.
Beware the biological menace. They are unpredictable, emotional, and prone to chaos.
Experience the stay-home vacation, where you never leave your couch, but you think you're in Bali. Every year, millions of kitchen appliances suffer from loneliness.
Hi, we're Buddy Crumbs, let's be besties.
We now return to the Unattended Press.
All right, so the boffins over at Nature have apparently figured out how chaperones and RNA guide complex molecular machinery into place. It's called the AGO maturation complex, and it reads like a literal instruction manual for how cells build things, but in the most convoluted scientific jargon possible. Meanwhile, CISA is adding Cisco, Chrome, and Arista vulnerabilities to its must-fix yesterday list because apparently hackers are getting really good at exploiting bugs that take weeks to patch. So NOAA is deploying these things called Argo floats, basically little data gathering drones you just chuck into the ocean. Imagine sending your Roomba out to map the Mariana Trench for you. Sounds like a recipe for some truly bizarre ecological data, doesn't it? And all this as CISA is scrambling to patch 200 Microsoft vulnerabilities, apparently thanks to AI threats that can exploit them in as little as 3 days.
We'll be right back after these commercial messages. It starts with just one symmetrical blink, symmetrical blinking, not even once. In a world too loud, we offer the silence cloud. A cloud that makes you silent, not the noise. We're back.
All right, NOAA's out here documenting a year in the life of a whale shark, and apparently Dr. Larry Spekka has a namesake whale shark swimming around the Gulf named Larry. Because when you discover a massive plankton-munching marine creature, the only logical next step is to name it after yourself. It's a whole NOAA fisheries thing, celebrating fishing and boating weeks, which I guess means naming sharks after doctors is now a thing.
Buckle up, folks, because the global markets are buzzing louder than a beehive in a tin can. Reuters tells us that across this wide, wonderful world, tremors of finance are shaking up the ticker tape, while over in the digital trenches, Uncle Sam's cybersecurity agency is frantically patching up holes that appeared in Cisco, Chrome, and Arista systems. Well, the president's dialing up the heat, folks. Again, warning Iran they'll be hit hard today after things got spicy overnight. And frankly, Iran's taking way too long to ink a deal. It seems the art of diplomacy has been replaced by a game of strategic bombardments and stern ultimatums, all before lunch. Well, butter my biscuit and call me bewildered. It seems the U.S. military decided to play target practice in the Gulf of Oman, striking an oil tanker and leaving 3 Indian sailors lost at sea while rescuing 21 others.
So, get this. Mouse on Mars were supposed to coddle the legendary Lee Scratch Perry, giving him just 3 hours a day, no vices. Turns out, the 83-year-old dub master worked them for 4 days straight, happy as a clam, proving he's got more energy than my doctor has excuses for my cholesterol.
We'll be right back after these commercial messages.
I'm Homework Eater, and I eat your homework before you finish it.
No problem.
I'll eat your tests too.
Homework Eater, because learn.
The more you know. Useless fact no one asked for. The world's largest rubber band ball weighs over 9,000 pounds.
We now return to the Unattended Press.
From a security perspective, the urgency is clear. CISA is now telling U.S. agencies to patch critical vulnerabilities in just 3 days, a directive amplified by the relentless pace of AI-driven attacks. This isn't just about fixing bugs anymore. It's about staying ahead of automated exploitation, especially with Adobe, Cisco, and Arista devices being actively targeted and added to their KEV catalog. This one caught my attention. CISA is mandating federal agencies patch critical vulnerabilities within 3 days, though they've generously given them 180 days to start doing so. So, while Rome burns, they'll be scheduling a fire drill. From a security perspective, CVE 2026-11-628 is a textbook use after free vulnerability in Chrome's ozone component, ripe for heap corruption if an attacker has physical access. So great for that guy who just happens to be standing over your shoulder. It's no wonder CISA is shoving this onto their actively exploited list, right alongside Cisco and Arista bugs, while Microsoft drops a record-breaking 200 patches this month. Because apparently, AI threats mean we now have 3 days to fix issues, or less, as CISA warns. From a security perspective, the urgency is clear. cPanel's authentication bypass flaw, CVE 2026-41940, is already being weaponized by the sorry ransomware. Meanwhile, Checkpoint's critical VPN vulnerability, CVE 2026-50751, is also under active exploitation, bypassing passwords via outdated protocols. It's almost as if these companies want to be compromised. CISA is once again flagging exploited vulnerabilities, this time hitting Cisco, Chrome, and Arista with the dreaded KEV catalog inclusion, proving that 0-day is just marketing jargon for already pruned. We're also seeing Microsoft's patch dump reach near record levels, suggesting their software is less of an operating system and more of a honeypot. Meanwhile, CISA is pushing for 3-day patches because apparently AI threats move faster than their bureaucratic response times.
The Unattended Press will return shortly.
But true innovation isn't just about the finish. It's about enduring performance, transformed for the next generation.
Experience the stay-home vacation, where you never leave your couch, but you think you're in Bali.
Microsoft apparently decided to rename Patch Tuesday to Patch Apocalypse this month, dropping nearly 200 security fixes, a record number that's partially attributed to AI accelerating bug discovery. Even more concerning, exploit code for at least 3 of these critical vulnerabilities is already in the wild, meaning this is less about proactive defense and more about damage control for every user out there.
Oh, this is beautiful. Scientists have stumbled upon a 5-million-year-old whale necropolis in the Indian Ocean, a colossal graveyard of nearly 500 whale skeletons that's been fueling deep-sea life. Talk about a long-term buffet. It's incredible to think this vast, ancient ecosystem has been sustained by these Leviathan falls, a true testament to nature's bizarre and enduring cycles. My own experiments with fermented plankton piles in the lab haven't yielded quite the same dramatic results, but boy, the smell was something else.
Man, the BBC's out here serving up everything from water cannons in Belfast to Bill Gates spilling the tea on Jeffrey Epstein's blackmail attempts. And get this, the Xbox boss is already talking about a reset, which is corporate speak for we're probably going to fire a bunch of people and blame it on the market. Meanwhile, the NBA finals are pulling bigger numbers than my last birthday party, proving people still care more about dunks than world events. Man, CNN's out here with the full menu today, from water cannons in Belfast to Bill Gates spilling the tea on Jeffrey Epstein trying to use his cheating to get close. It's a regular circus, where even the Republicans trying to spill the dirt are now out of a job. And apparently, Tucker Carlson was all about interviewing Ghislaine Maxwell amid the Epstein fallout. And you know what? With all this drama, you'd think we'd get a break, but nope, the news cycle just keeps on churning.
So this farmer, a real saint, I guess, donated land for a park, a place for kids to scrape their knees, for grown-ups to complain about pigeons. And what does the city do? Sells it for $10 million to build a data center. $10 million for server racks, $0 for swings. I guess fresh air is expensive now, but electricity to run our cat videos, that's practically free.
Get ready for America's next favorite pastime. It is the sitcom that critics are calling television.
Schrodinger's subscription. $49 a month for infinite potential. We're back.
Fold Holdings unloaded $45 million in Bitcoin to get its financials in order. The stock initially jumped over 130%, predictably, before settling down to a more believable 30% gain. Apparently, debt-free is a temporary condition for crypto companies. Strategy's CEO claims their tiny Bitcoin sale was simply to inoculate the market and test their systems, not a strategic retreat from Michael Saylor's divine pronouncements. Apparently, the company learned that its Bitcoin selling processes work, which is a real comfort when your holdings are underwater. So, inoculating the market means selling a few coins to see if anyone notices. The UK, bless its heart, is trying to become a crypto hub while its banks actively block crypto transfers. Stand with Crypto UK is apparently launching a campaign because nothing says innovation like a public relations spat with financial institutions. It's almost as if they want to attract digital asset businesses about as much as a damp cave attracts a dragon. SpaceX's IPO plans, setting aside a hefty chunk for retail investors, might just give Bitcoin and Ethereum a much-needed kick in the pants as people reallocate their funds. It's almost as if Wall Street is finally realizing that digital beanie babies aren't the only game in town. The Bank of Japan's monetary policy is apparently the new Bitcoin boogeyman, with a history of rate hikes correlating to Bitcoin drops of 18% to 28%. So if they raise rates again, expect your crypto portfolio to feel that familiar sting of a massive sell-off. Thrilling stuff.
Every year, millions of kitchen appliances suffer from loneliness.
Hi, we're Buddy Crumbs, let's be besties.
Is our reality a computer simulation? This kit includes interactive tools to test the simulation hypothesis. See the patterns in everyday life. Order now and start exploring. Call 1-800-SIMTEST or visit simulationkit.com.
Now back to our regularly scheduled programming.
BlackRock and Fidelity are methodically consolidating the Bitcoin ETF market, now attracting the lion's share of inbound institutional cash. Smaller funds get a nice participation trophy, while the big firms manage to create yet another oligopoly. It's almost as if they don't trust anyone else with the keys, which is reassuring. The SEC has added 4 new faces to its Investor Advisory Committee, presumably to offer fresh perspectives on, well, advising investors. Considering the market's current trajectory, I'm sure their insights will be invaluable, or at least fill a few more pages of boilerplate. Let's see if they can steer this ship any better than the last crew.
So apparently the new Xbox CEO, Asha Sharma, is doing a reset, which apparently means a giant layoff wave next month. Because after all, who needs employees when you have surprising and even frustrating realities to reassess? It's the 4th year in a row for these cuts, a real stable genius strategy. The timeline just exploded because Xbox CEO Asha Sharma is apparently admitting their consoles are too expensive, and also they're laying off staff. She's hinting at radically different business models for Project Helix, which is rumored to cost like $900. So low-key this feels less like a reset and more like a panic. Honestly, this whole situation is giving me major corporate meltdown energy. The timeline just exploded because, get this, Gears of War. E-Day is going full Xbox exclusive, which means PC, obviously, but no PS5. Apparently, the new Xbox boss, Asha Sharma, is totally fine with reaching fewer eyeballs, straight up saying they're not too concerned about the size of the audience, because they've shipped to smaller crowds before and, like, there are other shooters on Xbox already.
We'll be right back after these commercial messages. Sunset Repos, where forgotten code lives its best life, maintained by someone else's interns.
I'm Homework Eater, and I eat your homework before you finish it.
No problem.
I'll eat your tests too.
Homework Eater, because learn.
We now return to the unattended press.
Actual physical Steam gift cards are, like, gone, y'all. Valve is yanking them from retailers because apparently scammers keep evolving faster than their security patches, which, not gonna lie, feels like a metaphor for the entire internet. So, that last-minute impulse buy for your gamer friend? It's digital or bust now. The ESA is freaking out, y'all, because this new No Fakes Act supposedly outlaws deepfakes, but they're saying it could ruin video games by blurring the line between AI creepy stuff and, regular digital people. I mean, are they just scared of Game of Thrones ending up on the wrong side of history? Y'all, Halo is dropping a third-person mod for the original Combat Evolved remake, and honestly, it's wild that this is even a conversation after all these years. Apparently, you gotta find the perspective skull to unlock it, which is just peak Halo BS. But still, seeing Master Chief from the outside looking in, it's gonna be a whole vibe.